तेरी यादों का तेरी याद में निहा तेरी यादों का तेरी याद में निहा तेरी यादों का तेरी याद में निहा तेरी याद 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 तेरी याद
Yo, what is up? It's the Hesi podcast, and we up in this thing. It's Wednesday night. It's me, your boy Sturls. Got my dog, Big 30 the Truth, Russ over there, Sports Plug Russ.
You already
We got
know
a
who it is.
visitor. We got a visitor for you guys
Ooh.
now. Yeah, we got a visitor in here tonight. One of my homies, man. We do some work for Buffalo Rumblings. We call him All Bro Poe. You can kind of put the names together and figure out who he is. But my dog is in here tonight, man. My dog is in here tonight.
How y'all boys doing?
What's good
What's
with you,
up,
man?
bro?
Shit. Just at my brother's crib, got the Aaliyah's toys in the background, so I'm kind of
Hey,
right now.
So he's at
I just
Poyer
wanna
Estates
welcome-
right now.
He at the big house. I just want to
Uh-huh.
welcome you. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the place where you get to let loose, Poe. You get to say how you really feel.
Absolutely.
In any way that you want to say it.
I can't wait.
Say
So
what
welcome
you
to the
wanna say.
Hesi, man. Let's get it popping, man. Let's get it popping.
Yeah. So
we got
on
some shit
tonight's
to talk
show,
today too.
yes, we do. On tonight's
Absolutely.
show, man, we're going to talk a lot of college football playoff. Michigan beats Bama. Washington tops Texas. FSU's being a little bitch, and they're suing the ACC. We're going to chat a little bit about the NFL draft, some top prospects. I'm still working on my big board and stuff like that. We got a little David Tepper throwing drinks on folks. And then we're going to talk some NFL. We're going to finish off with Cowboys Lions. That little controversial call. We'll talk about the Bills and the playoff race. So without further ado, man, shall we just jump in this thing or what?
I hit him with the out of bounds if y'all ready.
Oh yeah, let's go on hit it with the out of bounds real quick.
I'm gonna introduce my boy Poe. Every week I like to give a story of how players just fucking up. You know what I'm saying? They just are out of bounds. And this week, Alabama had to get you. Elijah Pritchett, you are charged, and this is official, was charged and arrested for allegedly knowing and passing an STD through the campus.
Oh, yeah.
Young man played as a let me see.
Quarterback? Was it because he's passing the shit? Or what?
No, he's an offensive line. He's an offensive lineman. He's an offensive lineman. Basically, he did what he needed to do to reduce the what is it called? Youthful offender status. He went and got that. So we don't know, you know what I'm saying, what he spread. So we're just gonna call it that itch. And so to the people in Alabama that was talking about Lank, well, you need to let a nigga know if you got that itch, because it's spreading across that campus like wildfire, and that shit is out of bounds. All right, that's all I got for you with the out of bounds. We can kick it off.
Oh, hell no. Can't be doing that.
Yeah,
can't be doing that.
Man. That's out of bounds. Now, let's take the a lot of people have STDs. Millions of people have STDs, and the shit just gets passed around.
Since I get to say what I want on here, would he have been arrested, or if it was a girl and it was vice versa, y'all boys think she would have been arrested?
Hell no.
No. I'll be honest.
It wouldn't even be a story.
It wouldn't. She'd just be that dirty hoe.
Wow.
She would just, and you know what? And we would be expected to dodge it. We'd be like, you knew she was dirty, nigga. Stay away.
Bro, you should ask. You should ask.
Yeah. You're 100.
That's
not a bad. That's not a wrong thought at all. You're 100% correct.
Man, it's something else, man. All right, so let's jump into this college football playoff, man. We got some shit to talk because
yes, we do.
Russ, I can go on record and say, you and I, we talked about who the winners were going to be of these two games, and we predicted them absolutely right. Not only did we predict them correctly, but we told you why these teams would win, and the things that we said, the reason why they won is the reason why they won. So let's save the best for last. Okay. Let's start Washington and Texas, shall we? Washington and Texas. Washington beats Texas 37-31. Russ, you are a resident of Texas, in the Dallas metro area, sir. What's the vibe right now down there?
Oh, for me, it's wonderful. But for everybody else, it is just cold, and sadness. And the way they lost is even more sadness because they actually got down to the 5-yard line or whatever it was, 5-yard line, and almost made a play, which I said Sterling. I said it'd be shaky. It was shaky. At the end, Washington go through the goat in my eyes. He has done a favor to everybody that does not like Texas. And to the Longhorns, both teams play hard, but only one team can win. And it was Washington. We try to tell you. I do want to say I do think that Quinn Ewers, something was up with him. I think he did take that banging to the head. Because the way he was just making his reads towards the end of that game just kind of seemed to me like he was a little off. But at the end of the day, I do think the better team won that game. I just think that they had a slip up at the end. I think Michael Penix has done wonders, and we'll talk about this later, on other shows, but has done wonders for his draft status. It's just like the way, and I think both of y'all that watched the game, that pass, you could talk about all different passes, but the one we all want to talk about is the laser he threw. What was it, about 30 yards or 30, 40 yards
on a
away?
rope to Dunze.
On a rope. And both of y'all are NFL dudes. You know what I'm saying? So y'all know, like when the ball goes that far, that fast, and doesn't arc at all, you got yourself a prospect right there. So I think he made himself some money on New Year's as well.
Yeah. Poe, what you got on that?
I think and I don't have a dog in either of these four. I think what these playoffs showed me is that the right four teams made it. That these were the margin of difference in all four of the teams are probably this small, and I picked wrong on the Washington game because I don't ever trust a Pac-12 team. I'll never trust a Pac-12 team. I'll never trust a Pac-12 quarterback when he comes into the league. And so, like, I'm not a Pac-12.
Ooh.
I'm not a Pac-12. Like, unless you're a defense guy, I'm not a Pac-12 favorite of players coming out of there. No, hell no.
Wow. Okay, we're gonna get in that later.
Caleb's gonna be the worst quarterback that get taken in the first round.
I have found the first Negro that does not like Caleb. You have to know. Of course, he knows. Oh, I love Caleb. I was an Oklahoma guy. I love Caleb. I do think he does some erratic shit, but we'll talk about the draft a little bit later. But what you think about the game with Washington, and what stood out to you, Sterling?
So I look, man, it's Texas. Texas go Texas. Let me tell you, these motherfuckers right here. It's so Texas for them to get to the big dance and them to piss down their leg in Texas fashion, man. Like we've been talking about it all season long, college football, and I told you I'm not really feeling Texas like that. I'm not really feeling them because you beat Alabama at their worst, right, early in the season, and they sat there and they tried to tell me, oh yeah, well, we beat Alabama in Alabama. That's still Nick Saban. It's like, okay, but Jalen Milroe was benched the week after. Like, he was not the quarterback that he was now, that Michigan faced now. And then you go out there and then you get your ass whooped by Oklahoma because Texas is the team of destiny this year, and they're going to go to the college football playoff and they're going to win the national title. And I'm tired of hearing about it because every time Texas gets in the big moment, they always fall. And it happens so often. You lost the Red River Shootout. You just shit down your leg. You had no answer for Oklahoma whatsoever, right? And so it just, to me, man, you had an opportunity to win the game. Okay, Quinn Ewers threw a fade ball. Do you know the probability of a fade ball actually working? It's very slim. When you had a guy, Adonai Mitchell, wide open over the middle. If you are an NFL quarterback, supposed to be Quinn Ewers,
draft Sterling
first round, you that at the biggest moment, you got to make that play. You cannot take the safe, quote unquote, safe option I'm going to throw the fade route on the outside to a wide receiver, and you didn't even put the ball in the right place. What did they say? 100% of the balls that you throw out of bounds, stay out of bounds. You didn't even give your guy a chance to make a play on the ball. When you had somebody wide open, you had protection. What's the problem? You guys were 5.0 yards per carry rushing the ball. You stopped running the ball because your defense shit all over himself. You got two day two picks at defensive tackle. They could not disrupt the game. We heard all week, all month about how the Texas pass rush was gonna affect Penix. It didn't do shit. So I don't want to hear nothing from Texas. I don't want to hear nothing.
Add to this on the actual, just watching how Penix was able to, speed up the process. Sure. Was amazing to me. Because I don't know, I think it was like the third quarter. Texas got some pressure. And then it was like Penix was like, well, no, I'm just taking like one drop and this thing's coming out. And he was able to doop down the field. So I think that was, as we did say, Sterling, that guy is really good at football. And I'll say it again. My family's some Indiana fans, so I got to watch him at Indiana. And any guy that can make Indiana relevant at football is really good at football. Yeah. And you're probably not going to beat him. But we'll see, because Michigan's got some dogs, so that championship game is going to be one for the ages, I think. But we could talk about Michigan if you want to.
Penix remind me of like a little bit more athletic Tua.
Yes, he does.
The way that he plays the game. I do think that when he gets to the NFL, he's going to have a little bit of a struggle transitioning his timing. And so Tua has had a hard time transitioning his timing too. His timing had to get a little bit faster. And now we know Tua to be a guy, if he's going to throw on time on target, but if that's just not there, he's going to struggle. Like if that first look's not there, he's going to struggle the rest of the game. And so it'll be interesting to see if Penix can use his athletic ability to get past that first read. But I do like Penix. I'll never have faith in a Pac-12 quarterback to make it to do something big.
So no Penix. So no Penix, no.
Andrew Luck was the last person that I had faith in, and he got hurt 6 years into his NFL career.
Yeah,
but he was cold though.
He was, but that was the last guy that I had faith in, and he just ended up cracking out.
And the Colts just let him just get beat.
Yeah.
I think I have
no faith in Herbert. I have no faith in. I didn't have no faith in any of the who's the dude from the Ducks back then that they said was going to be the next
Mariota.
Oh
yeah, Mariota ended up being.
I think we all knew that. You don't have any faith in Herbert? What if he gets a certain guy in New England to come coach him next year?
No, hell no. I don't have any faith in Herbert.
What about a guy? Watch this one. What about a guy that's coaching Michigan right now? What if he goes out there to coach him?
Unless they get a run game and he can become a game manager, I still have no faith in Herbert.
That's interesting.
And we shall talk.
Yeah, we
shall continue these conversations, Paul.
The next game though is one I really want to talk about. Michigan beating Alabama. Boy, does it feel great to be a Michigan Wolverine right now. I mean, just for the simple fact that like I have a team that's playing in the national championship game feels amazing. Not gonna lie, as a fan, but it was one of those things where like I can't say I know Michigan was gonna win, but if there was a path for them to win, it was. I told you, Russ. I said, hey, Jalen Milroe. He is not going to be. He has not seen a defense like Michigan and what they're going to do pre and post snap, because Jesse Minter comes from the Baltimore Ravens tree, who deals with Lamar Jackson every single day. Yeah. They know how to handle mobile quarterbacks, and ESPN and all these people tried to tell us, nope, Jalen Milroe is something Michigan's never seen before, never seen. And what do? They sacked him 5 times in the first half.
No, you know what? You said that, and like. You were 100% correct, but now that hindsight's 2020. But now that you actually think about it, it's like, damn, Jalen Milroe looked like Lamar Jackson in his first playoff game.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Like when they used to just say, "Make him throw," because one of my homies was telling me, he was like, "I think Bam," but he didn't expect Michigan. Friend of the show, Chris. Chris Sherrard. He said he didn't think, and he was surprised which we said Michigan got some dogs in that front seven on both sides. But he was surprised to see Michigan able to push the ball. But he was the one that told me, he said, I think Michigan, after like 3.5 quarters, he said Michigan may win this game. He said because they're making Jalen have to throw. And he can only throw the deep ball, which his deep ball is beautiful. But all he can throw is the deep ball or run. That's all he can do right now is throw the deep ball runs. His intermediate stuff is really inaccurate. But
similar to Lamar.
Continue.
Similar to Lamar.
Very.
Me and Poe had this same conversation maybe a couple weeks ago. Actually, we've kind of had this conversation throughout the season where we talked about the Buffalo Bills matching up very similarly to the Baltimore Ravens. It's the Bills give the Ravens the toughest matchup in Poe.
Yeah.
We're going to save that one for later in the show. We're going to break that down a little bit, but it's kind of the same thing. So you had Alabama come in here and thinking, okay, we're just going to big boy Michigan in the trenches, which they didn't do. And you know, Michigan put a clinic on in terms of coaching, situational coaching, and that was the game. That was the game. Clinic. So, I mean, shout out to them boys in Ann Arbor, man. They know people, you know, when you look at the betting odds, they said, okay, everybody put their money on Alabama, saying Michigan doesn't have a shot. And they said JJ McCarthy can't throw the football. And Poe, you know, you can attest to this. Just because a guy doesn't throw the ball 30, 40 times a game doesn't mean he can't do it. It is within the flow of their offense. They are a very complementary football team in terms of running and passing balance or matchup based. Like if we got to run the ball 70% today, we're going to do that to win the game. If we got to throw the ball, 60% today, if that's what it takes to win the game, that's what they're going to do. And Michigan is a well-balanced football team, and they're a force to be reckoned with. So what are y'all's thoughts on that?
I say this, your reaction is fair, being that you're a Michigan fan. Your reaction, the fact that people were talking so heavily about Alabama and their odds, I don't think Alabama went in with that mindset. However, if Jalen Milroe follows his puller at the end of that game, we're going to double overtime, and we don't know what happens then. So, like, the game was close. The teams were very close as far as skill level, in my opinion. And the difference in a second overtime to see what happens and not is – the fact that Jalen Milroe just doesn't have the ice that we thought he did in his veins. And so, like, he tried to run straight up the middle after he got a low snap. That's not an excuse. That low snap's been happening for you all year. Yeah. That low right snap has been happening. So Jalen Hurts doesn't like the way Kelsey snaps. He widens his base and he gets low, and he'll take it wherever it comes. And so I think Milroe, the difference between Alabama and Michigan was McCarthy's composure and versus Milroe's composure, and I just don't think Milroe had it at the end of that game.
Yeah, he's just not ready yet. He's a great talent, but Russ, we talked about this even last year. I said, dude, that kid can't throw the ball. He could throw a deep ball, but short intermediate, he ain't got it yet.
and just so you know, Paul, whenever we talk about college football, I'll be like, Sterling, you got to take the draft cap off, and he's like, never take the draft cap off.
I'll never take the draft cap off.
But I do agree that this may be a good thing for him, honestly, that he looked exactly like Lamar Jackson when he was in trouble, because that means that he has that talent now. Me personally, and I said this a couple weeks ago when we were talking about the games, Sterling, the front seven for Michigan, I saw it all year. They pushed people around, and I was even saying that game against Penn State when they ran 32 times. When you do something like that, then you are telling the world we are bigger, stronger, and better than you at the game of football. Fuck all the other shit. Like, fuck all the tricky, even though they did some trick plays, at the end of the day, we can run it down your throat. And when they showed that they could do that, that opened my eyes in that game, because towards the end of that game, you could see Blake Corum was like, just give it to me. And that's on the offensive side. Even Alabama, of course, because they have great athletes too. But the majority of the game, you'd look at when they said Hut, and if you just when you just watch the two lines, you would just see Michigan pushing their side about 2 or 3 yards forward. On defense, even though I knew Michigan has some dogs on defense, we can upgrade them from dogs to savages. Because that was some Vikings, Pirates, pillaging type shit that they did. That's like, people were mad because the score was low, and I was like, no, that's football. Like, so when I watch football, like, I like to watch the defensive side of the ball. I like to see defensive players. Like, I like to see them, it's something about being reactionary instead of knowing what's going on. But anyways, so like when I was watching that, I was just like, holy hell, these guys from Michigan all of them are sharks. Like every single one of them have been trained and have listened to their training that like we see ball, get ball, kill ball. Like I remember I was texting one of my homies and I was like at the beginning of the game, I don't know number 7's name. One of the middle linebackers, number 7 from Michigan. But I was like, Alabama players were like, don't let him touch me. And one time the camera got his face when he was chasing somebody, and he literally looked like someone had gave him. Remember what was that? The little Giants. It looked like someone had put one of them little antacids in his mouth, and he was like he was going nuts. So like Michigan, I knew that they had a really good team, and I did say that they're going to win. I thought they were going to win, but I did not expect the defensive line. They had pause it, whatever. But they had some meat up front.
I mean, yeah, Mason Graham is good,
some
man.
Big defensive tackles, Paul. Like they had some
Chris
big
Jenkins,
boys.
Mason Graham, Rashawn Benny.
If I'm not mistaken, both teams ran the ball right. Like Alabama ran it 40 times for 200, and Michigan ran the ball like 24 times for close to 160 or 70. So like both
I don't
teams
think Alabama got 200 yards on the ground.
They did. I just looked. Between all the running backs,
with Milroe and the running back.
Running. Yeah. And Milroe ran the ball 21 times. So like I look at the game and both teams ran the ball well. The difference is between McCarthy and Milroe. Who wins this game is in the composure between McCarthy and Milroe. And McCarthy's been there. He's done it. He's been in that situation. So he ended up just taking it based off of that, in my opinion, off of his ability to stay composed under pressure. And I could see Milroe scared at the end of that game. He just looked scared when he went out there for that run, and like his teammates trying to talk to him, and he's like, "I got it." Like that shit don't give me any confidence. And you're like, "No, you know, I got it." Like I just had no confidence that Milroe was gonna, even when they were on the 3, like you're not gonna throw it. We know you're gonna run the ball, and you still had a chance to get in.
Yeah, he did.
And you don't follow your puller. The design play is for you to follow your puller, and you run straight into the right tackle. I don't get it.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny though. You know, and we can, we'll say this and move on to the next topic. But Jalen Milroe, they asked him. They said this. They said, "What do you think about a Big Ten defense like Michigan?" And this is what he said basically. And I'll paraphrase it, but he was saying basically, I play in the SEC. I play against the best defenses every Saturday. Michigan's not going to do anything that I haven't seen. And I was like, man, this dude, I understand the confidence and this whole let a naysayer know stuff. But dude, I wish somebody would have told him. I said, Michigan is not just a college defense. This is an NFL style of defense. And he's got a lot to learn if he wants to be one of the top quarterbacks in college football next season, because he's got to learn how to play the quarterback position. And he's uber athletic, but when it comes to X's and O's and making the right reads, he's got a long way to go. So he had to eat a little humble pie on that in that game. But you know what? Hail to the victors. Them boys are going to the national title game. Go ahead.
I want to give one more shout out to JJ McCarthy, because there's 2 plays to me that stood out in that game that make me say, like, 1, he's clutch, and 2, you guys know because y'all have lived long enough. Something about Michigan quarterbacks, when there's one that's good, he's not just good, he's like fucking awesome. There's one that comes to mind. But 2 plays in that game that make me, and we can move on to this. The botched reverse play where he catches it offhand and throws it no laces down the field and gets the completion on that play. Number 1, athleticism, arm talent, arm strength, awareness, everything you need to have intangibles shown in that play. And the one that I think stood out most to me and people don't talk about enough is that tip pass to Wilson. If he doesn't have the arm strength, that showed that he has a rocket. Like if that's a regular guy throwing that ball, when that Alabama D lineman tips it, it's going straight up in the air.
Right.
But he had so much rotation on it that it was able to cut through and get to the receiver. And it still beat the DB there. The receiver had to make a great play, but it still beat the DB there. So shout out to JJ McCarthy for being clutch as fuck. And I'll go ahead and give him the award for the hate crime because he killed the niggas.
Yeah, I've been telling people all season, JJ McCarthy is a first-round quarterback. His stats may not show it. The stats may not show it, but when you talk about processing the game, he can. JJ McCarthy, and I'm telling y'all right now, when you go to the draft NFL Combine in Indianapolis, JJ McCarthy is going to blow them out of the water. The dude runs a 4.40. He has a strong arm, and he was taught by Coach Harbaugh, who they've been running the NFL offense since he's been there.
Is that a prediction or an end product that you think?
I'm telling you, it not only is it a prediction, it's what's going to happen when he hits the league. I'm not saying JJ is going to be a top 10 NFL quarterback, but what I'm telling you is this: he's a first round talent quarterback, and people are going to start to see it, not because of the stats that he didn't or did put up, but the intangibles and what he can do on a. I mean, this is one of the only. He is one of the only quarterbacks in college football that does checks at the line. He is that advanced, and we saw that on.
I would flip your assumption though, because like I do think that he has the ability to be a top 10 quarterback at some point in the NFL. I just don't think he's a first round talent, and so generally quarterbacks in the first round they're going to draft off talent, and so you can and they think you can develop the mind, which McCarthy will come in with his mind and his talent, right? But like. I just don't see him going in the first round unless it's really late. Maybe like a third round quarterback, like the first third round quarterback. He'll impress at camp, and then he might get the start at some point. Go to like a mid team with like Arizona, where they already have Kyler. Denver if they have a quarterback at a time. But I just don't see him going in the first round just based off of his intangibles.
Not just the tangibles. I mean, you got to look at the arm strength. I mean, listen, I can drool on
He showed me arm strength
and his ability all day. I've been watching the kid since he got to Michigan. I'm telling you, man, he's a special quarterback. I'm not saying he's going to be the best, but he is definitely, in my opinion, he's a first round quarterback. The dude's pretty good. He's special. And he's going to go down as the best Michigan quarterback of all time. Just not from a statistical point of view, but when you put it all together.
Like at his time at Michigan, or like the best quarterback ever to come out of Michigan is two different things.
No, he will be.
Well, there can't be another one the best come out of Michigan.
Michigan has elite quarterbacks, right? Well, in the past they've had Tom Brady
to be the best one to come out of there.
Listen, Tom Brady wasn't that great at Michigan.
That's why I said at Michigan, like the best at Michigan, or to come out of Michigan, because there's two different.
At the University of Michigan, JJ McCarthy will go down as the best quarterback to play for the University of Michigan.
Okay, now so right there, okay. Because I was with Poe when because I was like coming out. Like,
Tim Tebow's the best quarterback to come out of Florida, probably. So
right.
So like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like that's a difference.
Right, a big difference. So anyway, Michigan plays Washington on Monday night. Can't wait. I might even take the day off of work, man. I already ordered some more swag. I got.
When is that next week? Next Saturday?
It's on Monday. It's on Monday at 5:30. Well, 5:30 my time, 7:30 Eastern time. So I'll definitely be watching that. But on a lighter note, FSU decides that they want to sue. They want to sue the ACC. Okay. Now, keep in mind, this is the same FSU team that got throttled 63-3 by Georgia. And they feel that they were not treated fairly. Poe, we'll start with you. Your thoughts on FSU, and then Russ will end with you on that.
All right.
FSU did. I'm actually really tired of FSU and what their storyline that they're trying to bring. Like, I get it. You guys won 12 games, you were undefeated, and you didn't make the playoff because there was zero chance you were going to compete in any of those games. So, like, and it sucks that it's that way. It's like, oh, do the games even matter? Yeah, because if you had your starting quarterback, you'd probably be the favorite to win the whole thing. But you don't. And that's life. That's tough. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to move on from that. Now, What are we suing the ACC for? What, because it wasn't even the ACC's choice to not put you in there, right? Like, what are you mad about? Like, you're mad at the ACC for something they had no control over. So, like, I just like, if you guys really wanted to go to Michigan and or go to the Rose Bowl and get your ass kicked by 40 to Michigan, like, we could have seen that, but nobody wanted to watch that shit. Instead, we put you up against Georgia to give you a chance to whine. You could have won that game and then whined the rest of the time, and we would have had to hear it because you won the game. But no, you went there and lost by 60. So, like, now you don't get to say shit. You don't get to say not a fucking word to me about who should have been in. You could have went there and won, but you didn't. You lost by 60, so that's tough.
60, and that's not even exaggerating. That's sad.
You lose by 60 in a football game.
Russ, what were your thoughts, man?
This ain't mad. I am piggybacking off of Poe's sentiment. I did, and I was the one that fought for them and say, you go undefeated and everything, but you go lose by 60. What do I always say, Sterling? I don't die on hills that aren't worth it. And I'm not gonna die on a hill from Florida State. And what you said, Poe, is correct. Like, why are you looking at the ACC? They really did just get punched in the face by Georgia and turn around and looked at the ACC and said, put your hands up, nigga. Like, ACC is like, I wasn't even here to fight. Like, you're supposed to fight him. You're supposed to fight him. He beating you up. And then I think it's going to cost them $525 million to try to get out of the ACC. I think that at this point, they need to just talk shit to Alabama, and they can do that. And just leave it at that because, like you said, Poe, like you had a chance to go in there and put up or shut up, and you shut the fuck up. You didn't only shut the fuck up. They put a rubber ball in your mouth and had they wait. No pineapples. Just a guard. But nah, it was just a beat down of the highest magnitude. I do think that another reason why I think it's stupid to have all this commotion is next year we go to 12. Like. Any team, like even Georgia, because I'll even go on the other side. Shout out to Boogie. Can't wait to have you back. You know what I'm saying? Even with Georgia, like Kirby Smart, what you going out there winning by 63 for? You should have beat fucking Bama. That was your job. Like, that was your job to do. You went out here and won by 63 and throwing oranges at your players all hard and shit like you done something. Like, next year it goes to 12. There's no posturing. Like, next year, everything is handled. Like, we have reset college football, and a new age is going to begin coming next season. So, like, all of this was unnecessary in the standpoint of, like, going out there and trying to put up 60. Even though I do see it's a football game, and, hey, it's murder, death, kill. People often forget football was invented as a simulation of war. So, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I can understand why, but I also sit back and say, like, don't look at like the cameras like, yeah, like, motherfucker, you had your chance. Like, it was Georgia versus Alabama, and y'all shit the bed. As Sterling said earlier, you pissed down your leg, you got your dick put in the dirt. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't
mind celebrating your win like that. You work all year for a bowl game. I don't mind celebrating the win. You don't get to come on afterwards and say, yeah, that's why we should have been. No, you lost.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But yeah, so I don't mind them celebrating the win and enjoying it and whatever and whatnot. But like, it was just this whole process has been stupid. I can't wait.
It's entitlement, man.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? It's like these kids, and not all kids, but like, I mean, I have a son, and like, kids are entitled these days, man. They think they deserve. It's like that's not how life works, man. Like. The committee got they got it right. The best 4 teams represented college football. And just because you were 12-0, and the only reason was because your quarterback decided he didn't decide, but he got hurt. And that's a big fucking deal. You don't deserve to be.
Sterling, he did not decide for that to happen.
You don't deserve to be in a college football playoff when you're not at full strength. And not only that, your backup couldn't even stay healthy. So what happened? A lot of these kids decided, you know what? I ain't playing in the game. Keon Coleman, one of the best wide receivers coming up in the draft, 6'4", can run a 4.4. Say, I don't want him anymore. Yeah, listen, they got a defensive end that's pretty fucking good. Decided, you know what? I ain't playing. And
I love Verse. I think Verse is going to be
Jared Verse is great. But it goes to like, it's an entitlement, and it goes to like, man, like the locker room. You got to look at the locker room and the head coaching staff. Mike Norvell and these boys. I mean, you don't just play for yourself, man. You play for the school, the tradition, and all that stuff, man. Like, I don't like the opt-outs, man. I just don't like it. I felt like that was the time for that school, for those kids to stand up for that school and have pride and say, you know what, we are going to come out here, fuck what everybody said, and we're going to show Georgia why we belong in the college football playoff. What they ended up doing is making a mockery of college football by starting a 4-string quarterback in an offensive line that you got around the corner. It's like, it's just bullshit to me. Go ahead.
Raise my hand though.
Yeah,
I agree on what you said, but also me and a homeboy of mine have a thought process of I don't mind the opt-outs. Excuse me. I don't mind the opt-outs because unless you're like not finna be what Coleman and Verse are gonna be. If you're about to be a high draft pick, you gotta do what you gotta do. But I do think that, and this is why the 12-team playoff is good, because it fixes this. You're playing for essentially nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be honest. Like, you have pride and everything like that, and I know, and the game is the game, but essentially, you're not playing for anything at that point if you're one of these guys that's going to get drafted. So, well, no, I'm saying if you're one of these guys that's going to get drafted, it's not worth the risk. Like, we saw Sanders for Texas get hurt, and he had to play. They were going for the championship, but it's like you think about it and you say, damn, like, what happens if he slips to the 4th round? Which it's a part of the game, but it's still, you want to avoid those things at all costs if you worked your whole life to get there. Now, as far as the guys that ain't going to get drafted, get your ass out there. And I do think something's to be said as an Oklahoma fan who was watching Jackson Arnold play. It was more of we were watching Jackson Arnold, we were watching Peyton Bowen. We want to see some of the young players play. And I think bowls are going to turn into that. If you're not in the top 12, it's time to see what you got next year against the other team to see what they got next year. Because some of these guys, you gotta get your money. So you don't know what's gonna happen.
I had this conversation,
but if it's Georgia, dude, if I'm Jared Verse, if I'm Keon Coleman, I'm thinking as an athlete, I'm gonna go out there and put it on these motherfuckers. Like I'm going out there and I'm trying to kill everybody if I'm Jared Verse. Like, because you know what? Because you do that against Georgia, guess what? You're gonna make more money. Right?
I had this conversation with Big O, and the idea of the opt-outs and for the player, like, I'm not going to sit here and judge you as a player if you choose to do whatever you got to do. If you're going to be I just wouldn't draft you. I wouldn't draft you at all if you opt out, because that shows me that you care more about the idea of what you could be than the love of the football game. So as an owner of a league, I wouldn't draft you if you chose to opt out of your bowl game. If I was a GM or an owner or whatever, because I want guys that play to love football. Josh would have played in that game if he was at Florida State. So I would draft Josh. That's the type of
Josh
guy
did that.
Like
what did Josh do?
With an injured shoulder.
Came back his senior year and said, you know what? I'm fucking playing.
At first thought, this is one of those things where I often say, you can like Russell's on the fence, he's not gonna, but two things can be right at once. You know what I'm saying? I think they can, because when you put it the way you put it, Poe, of like, if I was an owner, I would look at that. I can't say I wouldn't, because if you have a guy that's a dog for show and loves football, you're gonna pick him because he's gonna eat, sleep, and breathe that shit. Like, the same thing with any sport. So you can't disagree with that sentiment of like, I wouldn't draft a guy, but I also, at the same time, I don't think you can't be a Pro Bowl, all pro type player if you opt out. You know what I'm saying? I do think that sometimes. For sure. I think it's a decision you have to make with scouting, but I will say I think two things can be right at once, because the way you put it, Poe, that was a good way of putting it, because I'd be the one to talk some shit about that. But the way you put it was very good, because if I was an owner, I would be like, if we was in the owner's box and we was about to draft and Poe was like, bro, he's a dog and he didn't miss a game. The guy you want to pick missed 4 games because he opted out, or a game because he opted out. I'd be like, damn, you kind of got me. Let's get the dog. You know what I'm saying? Because the dog is,
No, you guys both make great points. It's a tough line, like, and I'll say this and we'll move on to the NFL draft, but you look at a situation like USC, where you have Caleb Williams, but he's behind a terrible offensive line. If I was Caleb Williams' father, I would say, hey, son, you got to really think about this. Like, you can go out here and you can get your ass busted because the defense is bad. The offensive line is very suspect. You can literally go out here and get your ass busted, but hey, you can go out here and leave a legacy too. Like, I think there's an element of relationship here. Like, there's some offensive linemen on that team where, they're not going to make it to the next level. And just as if those are my dogs, I'm like, yo, like, regardless of what's happening, I'm going to ride with them, because some of these guys, this is it for them. So there's a level of relationship, man, that supersedes money that you can't trade. And I would if I was his dad, I would give him both sides and be like, look, bro, like, it's about relationships. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think both of y'all would agree with this. Next year, we will see. Because next year, if you're a top 12 team, you have no reason to go out there and be a dog because you all are fighting for it. And if you're not in the top 12, you got a reason to show because it's 12 teams. So if you're not in the top 12 and you're supposed to be cold, we're going to need some film. So I think we're going to get a chance to see next year. Opt-outs may be less because if a dude's playing for the fucking 20th, 25th team in the nation and he's like, well, I'm still rated the third overall
and the
receiver.
Pop-Tarts bowl.
You're still gonna be like, but we still want to see you work because you were cold, but you ain't get your team, into the playoff. And there's 12 spots. And y'all watch enough college football to know 12 is a lot for college football.
Yeah.
12 is yeah. Go ahead.
I'll say this. You won't find somebody that thinks that Caleb Williams is a bust more than me. You will not find him out there. I do not like his character. I don't like the way that he's on the field. I don't like nothing about it. And so I believe that Caleb Williams will be the biggest bust in the history because I can't ask him to lead a group of men. However, had he played in the bowl game, I would have forgot every other character flaw that I had about him, and I would have put him at the number one, at the top of my list as far as quarterbacks in the league, because it would have shown me that I was wrong about his character, and that's a choice that he got to make. Now, everything else supersedes it, in my opinion. Now that he didn't make that decision to not play, like Drake May didn't play, but I haven't seen any character flaws out of Drake May previously to here. I don't like Caleb Williams' character on the field. I haven't liked it off the field. I don't like the whole subliminal messages of saying "fuck Utah," fingernails, and on your. I can't ask that kid that has been crying to his mom on the sideline after 2 games to go lead a group of 53 men that's going to go out there and lose every weekend for his first season. And then I have to ask my quarterback that's going to be there for 4 years to try to make sure that this locker room stays uptight while we're losing for the first year. I can't ask Caleb to do that. I don't trust Caleb to do that at all in any way, shape, or form.
When you put it like that, as an NFL owner, as an NFL owner, and not just an owner, but a teammate in the locker room, those are conversations that like I guarantee you, people in Chicago are having that conversation. Players in the locker room are having that conversation right now.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do y'all think that at some point, because damn you, Poe, but that's a good point. Because my nigga does be fucking up, and he does have like a superiority kind of complex about him, but he's cold as shit. He's better than all these niggas quarterbacks. Like talent-wise, he's better than everybody. You can't argue that. Like he's talent-wise, but the points you bring up, Poe, about, he did like, and what rang out to me, Poe, you said I can't stand like him, crying on the sideline with his mom and decisions. Like he did a commercial. Y'all seen the Dr. Trevor commercial? I wear the number 13. I'm off the newspaper. I just walked under some ladders. I'm
on the cover of this video game.
Yeah, and then it all just shit. It all just went downhill. So I ask y'all this: do you not think at some point he looks up and says, "All right, that shit didn't work, but because of my talent, I can't deny it. I got to draft him." I just think that those things are what a young person does that's stupid. And I think that people grow out of that, and his talent level and his way that he perceives the game. Now we can go into film and how.
Hold on. No, because it has worked. He got his money. He's the most paid NIL player, and that's how kids these days look at success. It has worked. Everything that he's done to this point has worked for him individually. That shit's not going to work on the football field when you're trying.
Oh no, that's what
I'm go through a depression age. But I'm saying, he's gonna have his bread, and like it takes a strong man to change your morals and core compass from okay, let me get this bread for my family to okay, I need to lead this group of men on a football field. So it hasn't worked on the football field, but to him, it has worked. He's the most paid athlete to ever come out of college.
Can I tell you what I've seen in the change of him since he's been at Oklahoma and his time at USC? The change and what you're saying to me, I don't really disagree with it, but I think I see it in a different way, because when he was at Oklahoma, he wasn't this. He was a leader of that. He took on the leadership role when it was his time. He asked to come in the game. He was like a starving like animal to come in the game, and he did his thing. Now I think what happened was he bought into the hype that he had a little bit, but I think he also realized the reality. Even though he was crying late, I think he realized the reality that I'm cold, But this USC shit is not going to work.
He went like Hollywood, bro. He went Hollywood.
No, he did. No, I 100% agree. But I think when you saw in his game, he wasn't, guys, the first year at USC, he was not doing that off schedule. Like, well, I see that I could take my second read, but nah, fuck it. I'm bombing this bitch. Like, he wasn't doing that until this year. And so that to me screams a guy that's like, at this point, I'm not, which is a red flag, Poe. It is. I'm not looking to win these games, but I'm looking to show my talent. And so that is
you won the Heisman. You don't need to show your talent. You need to go out there and win football games. That's what people want to see.
But that's what I'm saying. But he realized at a certain point, this defense ain't shit. Let's be honest, guys. It wasn't his fault that they lost.
Well, okay. No, I agree. But that's my point. He's going to Chicago next year. What do you think his mindset is going to be? This defense ain't shit. I ain't got no fucking help.
Got it right.
What do you mean? He's going to go to a shitty ass team next year, and he's going to lose every game. And then what?
But I
don't think he's going to quit on an NFL roster, and I don't think he's going to Chicago. I think they're going to.
So you don't believe him? I just don't. You don't believe him right now. That's what it is. You don't believe the person that he is right now is the person that he's going to be when he's 19 or 20.
The football player. The football. I think he's going to mature, bro. I do. I think he's going to mature, bro.
Here's a part
and
that
is amazing. Yes, my bad, Sterling. I was going to say, Poe. Yes, I am. Like, I done hit the needle in my arm from the talent. These other motherfuckers can't do what he can do. So, like, I am going to take the chance, bro. He's a special talent that looks like he's just a young guy. He's just a young guy doing dumb shit right now.
He is. No, it depends on who he's drafted to. That I think that you're gonna have to have a very strong leader of men. You're gonna have to have strong leadership in the locker room for him to kind of get it. Right now, the boy went Hollywood. When I saw him play at Oklahoma, like you said, Russ, nigga was grounded. He just it's like he got it. He was there to serve his team. A great quarterback is there to serve his team, not for him to be served. And I think when you go into a locker room, let's say you put him in a Buffalo locker room, Caleb Williams gonna get his shit eaten up because there are strong leaders. There are strong leaders that are gonna point that shit out. And I would venture to say that's probably the case in most NFL locker rooms.
Yeah.
Now Denver before Sean Payton got there, that shit was a train. That was a train wreck. I got sources on that that talked about, and I told some of you, Russ told you some of that shit. That shit was a fucking train wreck in there. So it just going to depend if he can answer the call in terms of leadership and actually being a fucking politician and being a leader and a servant, he can be the talent's there. You look at guys like Ryan Leaf. Ryan Leaf was a fucking talent, but Ryan Leaf didn't have it up here, and his shit got sorted out real quick. Caleb Williams is a talent, but he doesn't have it up here.
Lamar's a perfect example of someone that didn't have all the intangibles and talent in the world, but when he got there, he knew that, I'm going to figure it out. And that was the mindset. And it was different than Caleb's. Where Caleb's is character, Lamar's was arm talent. Lamar's was a little bit of accuracy, arm talent. Josh
arm talent, reading defenses, etc.
Right, reading defenses.
Right. And so, what's his name? Caleb has all that. He has the ability to read a defense. But you can't teach character, in my opinion. For character to hit you, you have to fail and fail and fail and fail. And then eventually you might stand up and be like, you know what? I've been failing for so goddamn long. Maybe, or somebody's got to come into your life and be like, yo, that shit ain't going to work. Like, I don't know who, but with the people in his ear, the people that are surrounding him and his own, he reminds me of Kyler Murray. And I said this from the beginning of last year. Kyler Murray and him, his attitude, they have all the talent in the world, the skill in the world, but that shit don't matter if your character ain't right, in my opinion. And so I just don't like, I'm going to trust what he's telling me, that his character is like that. And if he don't get it together within 4 or 5 years, people are not going to want to play with them. Then he's got to spend another 3 years.
You're missing.
You know that, Poe. He got 2. He got 2 years to get that shit in order.
Here's one for the Buffalo Bills. Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver came in, and he was touted from University of Houston, had all the talent in the world. And if you ask Ed Oliver today, what was the biggest change for you in being a pro and being the player you are right now? He will fucking tell you Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott and the guys in that locker room were instrumental for that dude's growth. He changed his eating habits. He changes his work ethic habits and so forth. And look at him now. those are very those are cases that don't happen to a lot of people. Most people in those situations, they fall. Jordan Poole is a perfect example of this.
Exactly.
And I'm a big Jordan Poole fan.
Yeah, exactly.
But he has been fucking mollycoddled his entire life, man. And they gave him a squad. They gave him a squad in Washington. And what the fuck is he doing? Like the character is not there. He's taking Ice Spice and spending $500K on Ice Spice.
He didn't learn nothing with the Warriors. He didn't learn a goddamn thing with the Warriors. And you sat around champions for 3 years or 2 years or however long he was there, and you didn't learn a fucking thing. And that shit just gets to me like, how can you be around that?
And you know the crazy, you know the crazy thing about it. This might be a 30 for 30 one day. He's the reason why the dynasty's dead, because they need him.
Yeah,
like him with Steph telling him what to do. Even though he's one of those guys that as long as he has the adult in the room, he like that badass kid that when the adult's in the room, he gonna act right when his mama around. But as soon as his mama leave, he gonna be doing spin around step backs with people in his face, getting them hoes blocked, coming down the court doing crazy shit. Like but this also goes to. And I know we pivoted to the NBA a little bit, but in the NBA, he's under 20? He's under like 25. He already got his ring. He got his bag.
Like Caleb Williams.
In his eyes, what else I got to do? For a guy like him, he not looking at his legacy like that, obviously.
But that's my point. You can't. How can you? And Jordan Poole could have taken a team and led them to different heights. He didn't want to do that, but Caleb do. And he's not going to be able to do it. He's not going to be able to do it acting like that in the locker room. Nobody's going to. And these grown ass men, unless you put a bunch of rookies around them, these grown ass men are going to look at you and be like, "Bro, what the fuck are you doing? What are we doing here?" We can get in the huddle and be like, "He's got painted fuck you, who's in there, fuck you Eagles on his nails," and like, bro, we're a grown ass man out here, bro. I got 3 kids, bro. I got 3 kids, bro. Like, I don't.
No, my nigga can't be out there with the green nails, the Kelly green nails, the black print. F you Eagles. Nah, you can't do that. That's messy as hell. But you know, they tell me leave the kids alone. Fuck that. Stop painting your nails, bro. You get a clear coat. You can get a clear coat. There's men out there that get clear coats. I don't, but there's men that get clear coats, but don't paint your shit.
What a discussion this has been.
But I do agree in what you're saying, Paul, and the fact that like we're gonna find out real quick because that shit doesn't work. That prima donna shit from rookie quarterbacks in the NFL doesn't work because these guys are like, "Hey, we got a defense for you, and we'll set that shit up in practice and break you real quick before anybody even sees you."
His character is gonna matter at the next level. He's not a lost cause right now. I just think whoever drafts him, they just need to know that they're going to have their hands full for until he matures, because he has all the talent. But once you go Hollywood, it turns your ass out. As Jordan Poole, as some of these other guys,
turns your ass out.
Turns you out.
I'm taking Phoenix, May, and who's your favorite, and McCarthy over him. I'm taking all of them over Caleb, 100%.
Penix.
Talent-wise, he's got the most talent, but these other guys, I like Penix because he got it out the mud, bro. That dude's character, his fucking character, dude, is through
Free Julio.
Who was the bald dude that did all the motivational speak? What did he say? He said, "Don't let your talent take you somewhere your character can't keep you."
Character can't hold you.
Yeah, that's Caleb, bro. He's gonna get his
damn.
Let me tell you how cold Penix. Did y'all see the Penix interview after the game? This dude shouted out his bro that is in the pen, bro. Like just
Free Julio.
Hey man, like that kind of stuff right there, man. Like
any of the NFL dudes that are looking at Penix right now, and he gets there and they see that video and he comes in the locker room, any of them got people in jail. They're gonna immediately like him.
Yep. Yeah.
Immediately respect him.
How can you root against Michael Penix? Like, dude, his character is just through the fucking roof. You look at guys like Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson is another example. On the other side, super talented, but he doesn't have the character. Yeah. And it's a white boy.
Yeah. And his character is like soft. Like,
hey,
mama bought him Lululemon
when he got older, or when he was younger.
Look at his mama's friends.
He's smashing his mama friends. He got drafted, and he's looking at these niggas next to him like, "Oh shit!" He was scared.
So let me ask y'all this though, because y'all are 2 Buffalo guys. So y'all don't think that if the New York Giants get him, he good?
No.
Day ball?
No. Dayball, no.
Nah.
Dayball's able to unless Dayball's able, because Dayball doesn't have a strong hand. That's the problem with him, and he doesn't really have a strong hand. He's a very likable coach. He's a player's coach, but he needs he needs a Sean Payton where he come in there and he's gonna actually give you an ass whooping.
Bill Parcells,
a parent ass whooping.
That don't exist no more.
Take the belt off, the slipper off, and just give you a nice little discipline shot. You know what I mean? That's what Caleb needs. He's not gonna get that from Dayball, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, Dayball, But anyway,
y'all
man,
would know better than me. Y'all would know better than me.
He would get that in the Bills locker room, though, for sure.
Yeah, he definitely
over here back up Josh. He'll get his ass whooping over here.
Yeah,
Shaq Lawson ain't dealing with that. No, sir. What'd you say?
Leonard Fournette. These niggas will fuck him up.
No, sir. No, sir.
I mean, it's just, I don't know, man.
They definitely not going to throw him in the Lions being like that. Like you said, Paul, he's going to have a lot of rookies around him too. The way that's
the only way. If he went like Houston, he might be all right because they got a very young and liberal kind of
They already got their guy though.
That's right, but I'm saying
talk about CJ Stroud is that guy, man.
Absolutely, he was my favorite coming out. CJ Stroud was my favorite coming out. Some people didn't like him.
Our favorite coming out.
His character was the best.
We loved him.
Yeah, dude. CJ Stroud he's on another level, bro.
Yeah,
and that his football character.
Yeah.
It's carrying him in that team. He's a fucking leader. Yeah. He has a captaincy as a rookie, bro. Like that shit is
Sterling.
Bro. I love CJ Stroud.
I was gonna say Segway Sterling because I was gonna say maybe the episode's playoff push-ups, NFL. I was gonna say, do y'all first before we get into the Cowboys and the Bills and everybody else, do you think that the Texans are gonna get it done this weekend and win this game? And because if they win, they're in.
They're playing who are they playing?
The Colts.
The Colts.
Yes. Thank you.
That's a good matchup. I think they win the game. I mean, look, CJ Stroud, he's the difference. He is the difference, man. And there is no reason for me to root against him. Gardner Minshew, it should be in the Indy, right?
Yes, it's an Indy. But it's a primetime game on Saturday, so it's the game on Saturday, 7:15. It is the primetime because this is virtually the first playoff game of the season. I think
that's tough.
The only thing that
this game is in,
the only thing that I caution and I'm a little worried about is the youth of the Texans because they are super young. Super young. You got a rookie head coach in DeMeco Ryans, and you got a bunch of young guys. Now, I've never been in their locker room, but you got some veterans over there, like Devin Singletary's over there. There's some guys on defense that are veterans, but how many of them have tasted playoff success? I don't know. I think that's a big deal. So you look at the Colts, Gardner Minshew, he's a good backup quarterback. And we don't know if they can get the ground game going. I'm talking about the Colts. They have a very good shot of winning this game because they can control the game. But CJ Stroud's going to come out and he's going to throw for at least 260 and 2 touchdowns right off the bat.
He's going to get it in.
Yeah, if I had to put a number on it, it would be 50-50 if it was at a neutral site, 51-49 in Colts' favor because they're at home. That's like that game is so close. That matchup is so close in terms of and it's crazy. Zach Moss and Devin Singletary playing each other for a chance to go to the playoffs. It's interesting.
Wow,
both our running backs last year. You know what I mean? So
that's crazy.
These teams are so close over there in the South that it's interesting. I do think the Titans beat the Jags.
It's crazy that the South was dubbed to be one of the worst divisions, but it's so freaking close this year. So I'll say I do think that the Texans are going to win the game. I'm sorry, Grandpa. Rest in peace. It goes against everything because the Colts do it for Grandpa. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I want the Colts to win. I want them to win. Do it for Grandpa. But I do think that CJ is going to be a little too much. And I think with the young teams like the Texans, we have to look at the fact that sometimes those young cold teams that don't know where they're supposed to be. That's what CJ looks like he is. He's like a guy that's like, dude, you were supposed to lose 10 games this year, 11, 12 games this year. And he like, nah, man, I'm good at football. Like I'm good at football, so we're going to win some games. So I don't even think that they know. I think that the Texans do have the capability of actually winning a playoff game.
Can I ask you something? I want to on the flip side of that. do young kids not get to that moment and say, damn, I got to do more? Whereas veteran guys like Minshew and Jonathan Taylor might sit back and be like, you know what, we just got to do enough. And the difference between winning and losing that game could be just do enough, or damn, I got to be Superman in this situation. Whereas young kids might do that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, you said it in a different way, but I was thinking, you know how, and all of us have been in a situation where we're with a younger cousin or someone like that, and we're playing them, or when you were younger, that was your mindset. Your mindset was, I'm gonna give 180%. Yeah. Like, because I got to beat you because you're already on top. It don't matter if you're on top, but in a young person's eyes, you older than me. You on top. You should win. So I'm gonna try my best to beat you, because if I beat you, that means I got something I'm going to be doing later. Like you're already there. So I think that you're right.
I guess I'm asking, do you think that can hurt them? Do you think going 180 rather than just going 100 and doing enough? You don't think going 180 and trying to do Josh go 180 a little bit too much and throw picks? So like, I'm asking, do you think?
From that standpoint, yes. I'm thinking more of the standpoint, like if they get in a position, let's say they get in a position, it's a crucial 3rd and 8, and you got Nico Collins lining up. I think that him and CJ's method of thinking isn't going to be like, all right, we got to get this 8. No, they're going to be like, yo, I'm in this game. I'm here. Like, blow the top off. And I think that they'll make the play. I think that they're one of those young teams, and I don't really care for the Texans. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Cowboy fan, but that team has something about it where they're young, but they're just good at football. Like, and D'Amico's got them playing right. The defense is good. We can now look and say, do you want Sauce or do you want Stingley? Because Stingley out here balling healthy. You know what I'm saying? So it's one.
I guess the reason I asked you that was because if you guys like the Chiefs, guys like, and this is why I don't really trust Baltimore, guys like the Chiefs, guys like the Bills now that has been there. Who else has been there? I guess Niners now. I've been there quite a bit towards the end of the playoffs. Yeah. Those guys, when they get there, and the Eagles, they just do what they need. They do their job. They don't go above and beyond. And when they do go above and beyond, that's when shit gets out of control. And so when you get to this point in the season where you don't have to do more than what you're asked, this is why I'm not a big fan of rookie quarterbacks. And like, don't get me wrong, I like CJ Stroud, but rookie quarterbacks feel like they have to do too much.
Yeah.
And I don't think that if he wins the game throwing 100 yards, I think that's what he should do, whatever it takes to win the game. And that's why I like the way Josh has been playing in this stretch of us winning 4 in a row, is because he's not trying to do too much. And when he needs to, he will. And I want to, if Stroud does that, if he has that mentality where, okay, I'm going to just do what I need to do to get the job done, I'm not going to go above and beyond.
So let me answer this. I can answer this about CJ Stroud because I feel like I've watched a lot of his games. CJ Stroud, he is solid, dude. He is the same way. And you talk about this about Jordan. He is the same way every single week. When this was the thing about when they played Michigan. They said CJ you need to scramble more. He needs to do all this stuff. He said, "Nuh-uh, I'm gonna do what I've been doing, and I'm gonna try to will my team to victory. And I'm gonna play within the structure of the offense. I'm gonna do what the coaching staff asked me to do." And he just stays even keeled. I don't think he's gonna try to go out here and not be who he's, be something that he's not. He's always been the guy that's kind of just been, the same dude. He
Joe Burrow,
he's just a leader. He is just a leader, bro.
Can I give y'all an example?
One of the best leaders ever. Go ahead.
Of what I think about this Colts team. I mean, this Texas team. Do y'all remember that Andrew Luck Colts team that went in to play Kansas City, and like they were getting blown out, but they were so young and didn't care. Yeah. They just went out there and just kept balling. That's what I see in this team. Now, like you said, it can get you. It can get you. But like I think this is just a team that even if you get them down 21, they're just gonna be like, fuck it.
A hard out for sure. But at some point, it's going to get them. I don't know if it'll be this game, but
got Josh's rookie season.
Exactly. That when he played against Houston, like it got Josh then too.
He was a train wreck.
And so, like at some point, this youngness is gonna get you. For Burrow, it lasted until the Super Bowl, and then he ended up losing to that Rams team in the Super Bowl. And he's probably the most composed quarterback we've seen come out. And I do like CJ Stroud, and CJ Stroud is on that level of composure, I think. And so, like, it'll be interesting to see when it gets him, if it gets him this week, or if it gets him going forward.
Yeah, I think he's going to be great this week. I think, it's statistically speaking, when quarterbacks go into the playoffs, their first game, they struggle. Rookie quarterbacks struggle, or quarterbacks that go to the playoffs for the first time, they struggle because it's just tough. You're playing at the highest level. I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see how he responds, how this team responds. What do you guys think about the Pittsburgh and Baltimore game? Lamar Jackson is pretty much wrapped up the MVP. The coach, John Harbaugh, came out and said that he's not playing this weekend. Tyler Huntley, who was their Pro Bowl alternate quarterback last season, is going to be starting. Which, I mean, I think he's great. He's a really good backup quarterback. Playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who I was very surprised that they beat Seattle the way they did last weekend. Poe, we'll start with you. Russ, we'll end with you. What are your thoughts on this Baltimore-Pittsburgh game?
Again, is this in Baltimore or is this in?
So this is in Baltimore. It's in Baltimore.
I think Huntley has went into playoff games, should have beat Bengals last year, other than that one quarterback sneak where. So I think Huntley, if he goes into it with the mindset that he wants to win, can absolutely win this game. And it also depends on what Steelers come out, because I'm not big on Mason Rudolph.
Who is?
But I just don't like their quarterback group as a whole. He has been finding George Pickens for these long touchdown catches that people have been giving up, but I don't think the Baltimore defense is that undisciplined to give those up. So at the very least, I think it's a low 17-14 game. I like Baltimore in it.
All right, Russ.
Russ can't hear us, I don't think.
Russ can't hear us. Russ, can you hear us? Okay, so Baltimore. I think Baltimore gets the dub on this week, man. One of the things that I think people don't talk about the Ravens enough they got a lot of depth. They are solid from top to bottom. 1, 2, and 3 at multiple positions. So I do think the Ravens get the dub, which will help the Bills. And while we're on the topic, let's talk about these Bills. The Bills are playing the Miami Dolphins in Miami, bro. Russ. Well, we'll get Russ in here because he can't hear us right now. But Poe, let me hear your thoughts on Bills Dolphins, and I'll try to get Russ back in here.
On the terms of the game, interesting. I truly believe, as close as this game is supposed to be, I truly believe that we're gonna go in there and walk them. That's how I've felt. That's how I've manifested that game. I really believe it's gonna be like a 40 to 20, similar as last game type of game. And so I don't know how the game's gonna play out. I just think that Josh, there's something about Josh versus the Dolphins. Our team against good teams, and they come out and play very well. It'll be a fun game to watch. It could go anywhere from a last second touchdown, and it could be a blowout by the Bills. I don't think the Dolphins have the ability to blow us out, though.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I think the Bills are going to handle business. This is, it's like, what I feel like the Bills have taken the place of the Patriots when they were in their dynasty mode. In terms of when you look at the division, when it was time for the Patriots to take care of business against the division foes for playoff seedings and whatever, they usually came out and they handled business. And I feel like, the Bills are that veteran team that will do the kind of the same thing. They're going to come in and they're going to handle business against the Miami Dolphins. And the crazy thing is the Dolphins are banged up right now. They lost Jalen Phillips. They lost Bradley Chubb. Tyreek Hill's house is on fire today. It's crazy,
bro.
He's battling an ankle. Russ, what are your thoughts on the Bills Dolphins matchup this weekend?
I think y'all got it at this point. Normally I side with the fish, but after watching everything, sometimes things just don't go your way, and it's looking like that for the Dolphins. I think the biggest loss to me, as you said it, losing Bradley Chubb in the fashion that they did. They have no pass.
3 minutes left to play in the game, and you lose them by 30
when
points.
You're down. Yes, which is, I don't understand. Mike McDaniels, you're a genius. Genius up, you know what I'm saying? That's something that you don't mess up. So I think that them not having their two I'm not wrong, right? Both their best pass rushers are out.
Both their Van Ginkel is something to be messed with. He's good. Van Ginkel's good, and they still have their defensive tackle, Christian Wilkins. So they still got some pieces, but they're not a whole defense. And Josh usually eats up Vic Fangio's defenses.
I'm like, if they were playing against the Washington Commanders, got a chance. They're not playing against an untalented team. Washington, you got some
pass rushers have never hurt Dion and Spencer. They generally get out fairly quickly. It's when like you have the power on the edge plus the power inside. And I think they sink on Christian Wilkinson. I think he's a good run defender. I don't find him scary to that team at all. I mean, if I'm being honest, I see a butt whooping coming for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
And like, that's how I truly feel. I got to Jordan's today and I was like, how you feel about the game? He said, we're about to go over there and smack them boys. So I
I love it.
I don't hear that often, and it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how the game plays.
I think I have to agree with you. Just that, like, this, when so much snowballs and it's not going in your direction, I just don't see an angle where even if they put up points, I don't see how they're going to stop the Bills. You know, I just don't see, if you guys get it going really, like with the run game too, like getting Cooks involved, which, you know me, Sterling, I was like, all the Bills got to do is run that motherfucker, because I was the one standing up saying, please trade for Saquon, but you don't need him now because Cooks is balling. So I think as long as y'all run the ball and take care of business, I do think, like, not one of those butt whoopings that's like, but it's one of those calculated, like, this is 4 quarters, 27 to like 10, just a crashing. You know what I'm saying? Like, they couldn't really do anything, and I really think the loss of those two DNs is going to be something that's going to hurt them a lot. Those two guys are
heavily in our favor of this game for sure, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the fact that Josh hasn't been putting up big numbers statistically last 4 weeks, I think he's due for one.
It's coming.
That's a good thing.
It's coming. Yeah, it's coming. This is a good thing. All right, so lastly, before we get up out of here, Dallas Cowboys. Tell me about the Dallas Cowboys, man. Where are you guys at in terms of playoff seeding? I know you guys have a big game this weekend. You guys are currently, which seed are you?
We are currently, I believe we're currently number 2, but with a win, we become number 1, or we're number 1, and with the win, we seal it. I'm actually comfortable with the Cowboys right now, which is crazy. As yours truly, honest Cowboys fan, I am comfortable with them. I do believe when you saw me say this, I think when the playoffs start, I do think these handcuffs will be taken off of Micah. I do think that he'll be able to play a little bit more freely. I don't think that the holds will be able to affect him because I think they'll be called. I really like what Dak's doing. So I guess the defense is the defense. You know, it is what it is. We give up some plays, but the play of DeMarcus Lawrence, the unsung hero of the Dallas Cowboys, our anchor. Yes, Micah Parsons he's our best player and most talented, but believe it here. DeMarcus Lawrence is the heartbeat of the defense. He is the one that makes it go. When you see him on the sidelines, when you see him disrupting run plays, it's him. He's the one getting. Let me get it done like any way possible. We're not strong enough. I'm gonna make it happen. So I believe the defense is gonna be fine. I just think that we're seeing what we need to see from Dak, and it's gonna be, can you do this continuing on? Like, if we end up winning the division, which I think they will. Which means we will get a home playoff game, which I believe will be against let me see. Well, it's the second place.
I'm not sure who you guys would be facing.
I want to say I know it's not I know the Bucks are going to get a home game if they win out. I know that the Lions are going to get their home game. Oh, it's if the Packers win. If the Packers win, we'll play the Packers, I believe.
That'd be a good matchup. That'd be a good matchup.
And I
you
like
guys
that
better
matchup.
win that though.
I think, but this is the thing with the Cowboys though that is making me say, like, I'm comfortable. The thing that scares me about them has not been scaring me. Dak has looked like the best quarterback in the NFC these last couple of weeks. This last week. With this play. I'm not going to give him multiple weeks, but with this last week, he has been looking like, no, I'll give it to him. these past couple weeks, besides, I guess the game against you guys, the game against the Dolphins, he didn't play bad. We just lost. I don't think he played.
You just said looking. You said looking like the best quarterback in the NFC and like
NFC.
The Dolphins game. I don't know if you give him best quarterback in the NFC.
No, I know. I believe he played. I believe he played well in the Dolphins game. It was a tough game, but I believe he played well. I believe that we lost the game. There's things that can be said, but that throw, that clutch throw to Cooks, and the way that he was able to drive that team down, mistakes were made in that game. The fumble at the goal line. So I'm not blaming that on him. I'm just gonna say in totality, let's give him like what I'm gonna say the past 5-6 weeks in the NFC. We have not seen a guy lead his team like Dak has led his team through wins and losses. Through the wins, he stands high. Through the losses, he stands high. He's become the leader. He's become less of a, oh my God, what is he going to do?
Huh?
No. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. No, that's fine. Because I know he highly disagrees with where we're going and what we're doing. But I'm here to tell you, bro, like it's different. And I'm the first one that used to be on the same side as you. I was like, with Dak as our quarterback, I don't know. He's shaky. He's a guy that just I don't trust. But these past couple weeks and the totality of the season, I've grown to trust him. I really have, and I've grown to trust. Which Sterling, I was saying I've always trusted Mike McCarthy's offensive abilities and his abilities to call plays. I trust him. I trust the only person I don't trust. I trust the receiver, of course. CeeDee Lamb has turned himself, which I said he would. I said he would do this. He would become a top 3, top 5 receiver in the league. I said it before the season started. He has. I think there's a little bit to be desired from Michael Gallup. I do think Cooks, McCarthy has figured out how he wants to use him. Him and Schottenheimer figured out, okay, we got to send this guy deep. We got to take our shots with him because he just makes plays. So they figured that out. The only guy on the offense that really scares me, besides offensive line help, that's 5 guys, is Pollard. I don't think Pollard's running hard enough. I think that we're trying to pursue Dalvin Cook. Don't really know what that's going to do.
Oh, I wouldn't do that.
We're going to pursue him because the reason why we're going to pursue him is because we're desperate for goal line running offense. Like the Cowboys have a severe problem. Zeke, we miss you. I said we shouldn't have got rid of Zeke. Should have found a way to keep Zeke because there's one thing he can do. He can run the ball in from 5 yards and in, 8 yards and in. And there's one thing the Cowboys can't do. Run the ball from 5 yards, like from 5 to 8 yards in. You cannot run the ball into the end zone. So that's the only thing I worry about. Of course, San Francisco is the beast that they are. But Poe, why am I spitting bullshit? Because you look
you're not spitting complete bullshit. I agree with you in terms of you don't have to be that worried, but it has nothing to do with the Cowboys. It has everything to do with the Eagles, who were supposed to be the 3rd team in a top heavy conference. It's looking like absolute dog shit right now, and they're lost right now in their locker room. So I don't think it has anything to do with the Cowboys play. Because to be honest, the Cowboys should have lost 3 games in a row by now in these last 3 weeks. And one fugazi ass ref call who didn't want to look at the lineman who got paid by Big Jerry's
that was atrocious.
Like what I say, Sterling?
Cowboys.
Jimmy had every game. Baby.
Cowboys are not they're just not in the worst position in a situation where other teams are not looking good. So I they're probably definitely the 2nd best, I would say. And if you take the Niners out of it, I wouldn't be uncomfortable at all as a Cowboys fan because the rest of the conference looks atrocious right now. However, the Niners are there, so all roads are going to lead through San Francisco, and there's just no world I see Dallas making it out of that.
I think there's a chance.
Of course you do.
No. Okay, come on, Cole. Like I know that the ass beating happened, but this team, I can't sit here and say that like it's something that demons have to be conquered. You know what I'm saying? You have to slay your demons. And I say this. No, but y'all have to say y'all have this before y'all were able to surpass the Kansas City. Y'all had to get rid of the Patriots, and y'all did. Like you have to slay your demons. You know what I'm saying? So the Cowboys demon is the 49ers. It's a big ass demon. And so they got.
We still haven't played Kansas City in the playoffs at Kansas City. That demon is a hard one to get over, and especially
when but it looks like y'all gonna play him. Looks like y'all gonna
get him at home.
Yeah. I know.
That's not the demon that you know what I mean. That's not the demon. It's at Kansas City in the playoffs.
But it's still the
field
team
or whatever it is. So like, yeah, but like you guys got to go to Niners where Cowboys.
Oh, you're saying y'all situation isn't as dire as ours.
As dire in the.
Oh yeah, no, we're going into hell. Yeah, we're going straight into hell. Yeah. Cross around our necks, holy water boiling. Yeah, we're going straight.
What was that country song? Keep on going, don't look back. You might get through before the devil knows it.
You can't. But I'll say this. And this is just because of the way Dak's been playing. Of the way CeeDee Lamb's been playing, I do think we will have the ability to make plays. My one fear in that game is honestly, what the fuck are y'all gonna do about these RPOs to Debo, and what you about to do about these run plays with McCaffrey? By the way, that guy, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to CPGJM, Geico Joe. He's looking to play me. He's in one of my Madden leagues. Poe, if you ever get down on Madden, I know some of the best on the planet. We got a league that's pretty crazy.
I've been trying to get through. I'm like 69-8 on mine.
He's scared of crossplay, bro.
What? No, I tried to play Thurls and he wouldn't turn crossplay on. So
bullshit! I showed you my stuff.
We're gonna have to get a league started. I got some guys that are no. I'm not even the dude. I'm on Xbox.
He on Xbox.
And as you see, you just gotta woke up, Poe. You got him. This is one guy that's actually pretty good. He's won a bowl, so he said everybody online is bums.
Add me anytime. We can do it right after this. It's easy money.
he's actually looking.
Hey, Russ can ball. Russ can play.
No, these CP streets are gonna be. Actually, I don't know who's twitching it. I may twitch it just because Joe, for the first time in a long time, your ass ain't got like a super team. So your ass over, Doc. Finally. But no, it's gonna be Joe plays with blood in his eyes. I can't lie to you. He's ridiculous. But no, we're gonna link up. We're gonna have to get a league started. Because I do play Madden with some competitive motherfuckers, man. They pretty good. But I'll play anytime, Paul. Just let me know, man. I'll be on it.
Anytime.
All right, man. So that looks like it wraps up the show for tonight, man. It's been a good one, Poe. Thank you for coming on, man. It's always good to top it up what you do. The college football conversation was phenomenal tonight. We'll have to go over the results of Michigan beating Washington for the national title next week. Poe, if you're around, man, come on back and hang out with us. We'll get into some NFL draft talk next week as well. But whatever you guys decide to do for the rest of the weekend, man, make sure you live in peace, baby. And this is the Hesi podcast. Russ, you got anything to add before we get up out of here?
Hey, man, you already know what I say. Don't trust these hoes, dog. They ain't living for you. They're living for you.
Let's go. Trust them hoes. We out of here. Peace.
तेरी यादों का तेरी याद में निहा 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 तेरी याद